Because those Mercury retrograde is like 2 days away, 3 days away. I think. Oh yeah, today's the 23rd. 2 days away. It's Mercury retrograde. Sagittarius is the final retrograde of the year in Mercury. Saturn's finally direct. Pluto is finally direct. But just before we get ahead of ourselves, let's bring it back one more time. Mercury retrograde, as any time, is the redo, the rethink, the revise, the recommunicate, the rethink. I think I already said that. But it's the doubling back. I thought I liked it. I thought I wanted to do it. I thought I liked you. I thought I wanted you in my future. But now I see that that's not really what it is. Or now I see what I need to do in order for this to be more facilitated in my life, and be a more common structure in my life. So Mercury retrograde Sagittarius, November 25th through December 15th. Keep in mind always that the shadow phase is a lot more hectic than the actual retrograde itself. So in these couple of weeks leading up to Mercury retrograde is when you probably had the miscommunications, the arguments, the vehicle issues, the delay in pay, the delay in messaging, or the wrong messaging. And then Mercury retrograde itself will kind of calm down. And then in those following weeks leading up to the new year, December 31st, new year, there will be more of that shadow wave. So think back to the beginning of October, right before we got into this shadow energy of Mercury retrograde, and think about, what did you commit to? What did you sign up for? What were you interested in? What became your new inspiration? And now ask yourself, am I still inspired? Am I still motivated? Do I still have the steam to keep these things going, to pull these things off without a hitch? Mercury is in detriment in Sagittarius, meaning it is furthest away from its starting point of Virgo. And then Jupiter is in Gemini in retrograde, and it's also in detriment of its placement because it's furthest away from where it starts with Sagittarius. Jupiter and Gemini are sister signs. They complement each other well. Both of them love to party all the time, party all the time. Or at least be there for a good time, not necessarily for a long time. When I think Gemini and Sagittarius, I think of travel buddies, adventure buddies. Are going off on an excursion. They're going to go learn some things, apply some things, and live a very unconventional life that brings them happiness. Um, Kendrick, I haven't listened to the album. If you know me, you know that I'm a person who must listen to the music, but not listen to it like trying to be inspired. I have to listen to it to see what he's actually saying. So there's already a lot of symbolism behind the imagery that he released yesterday. The fact that he released it on the 63rd anniversary of JFK being assassinated in a vehicle, and he's standing in front of a vehicle for the release of this album. He's also a Gemini. Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini. I think I saw something about his Leo placement was in the moon yesterday. So I just need to go look some things. I need to go look at some things before I get deep into that. But the fact that Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini and he is a Gemini, whenever I also think of Geminis, I think of going to move the world with their thoughts and with their words. Tupac, Biggie, Left Eye, just to name a few. They have changed the trajectory of the world and of music and of hip hop, and we're not even on this earth for a long time. So, and now here he is doing the same thing. Um, so, although both of those planets, Mercury and Jupiter, are both retrograde and they are both in detriment, they will also still be supporting each other throughout this chaos and fluctuation of change and adaptation towards the end of the year. Use retrograde to clear out your inbox, look at your subscriptions, unfollow, block, compartmentalize, get rid of it, especially with it being Sagittarius and Sagittarius being very interconnected to everything, but kind of equally detached from it all. And then Gemini being almost the opposite of that, with being very emotionally inspired by everything, but needing to learn how to detach from some things. So check the apps that may be tracking you. A couple of months ago, I was telling Patreon, I somehow got behind some system on my phone and got to the parts of the apps where I was able to see who and what was tracking me. And I was like, wait a second, this is strange. I thought I always clicked don't track me. But I guess by some upgrades of these apps, you are already subscribing to the being tracked. So get that together. Cross your T's, dot your I's in all areas of your life. Slow down, reflect, not just on the last few weeks and the last few months of the year, but the entire year in of itself. It's been a very interesting year. Lots of things have happened. Lots of change has happened. Ask yourself, how are you feeling interconnected to your power? If you're interested in deepening your connectivity to your internal power and your internal compass, I encourage you to enroll in the Art of Metaphysical Understanding, which is a class that I host every year. And you learn about the true story of tarot. You learn modern astrology and ancient astrology, the meanings and the modalities of them, on top of ancestral veneration, wound healing, ways to increase your fertility, as well as heal any type of wounds that you may have that may be blocking you from money or love or opportunities, as well as archangels and deities. I was like, there's a couple of other things in there. So I encourage you to do that, especially as we're in this Pluto and Aquarius time now where the weird will survive. The part of you that you try to hide away from the world will be the exact reason why you're able to shine in the world or survive in the world and thrive in the world, because you will know things that people do not know. You will not be so detached to the physical essence of things because you will be so ethereally touched and tapped in that you will understand the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, and really be able to see with the true eyes of duality. So, be patient with communication and any travel delays. Let the plan actually develop is the download that I heard. Sagittarius likes to be very, maybe even animated of sorts. They want to go on the road trip just because they don't have anything else better to do. They don't have any other responsibility that they need to take care of right now. They don't need to answer to anyone. I want to go on this excursion from Texas to New York, and we're going to go. And it's only going to take us 32 hours or however long. And on the surface, that sounds great. But then Jupiter, Gemini, right now, retrograde, says, but wait, Sagittarius, do we have enough food? Do we have enough gas? Do we even have enough money? Because once we get to New York, where are we going to stay? How are we going to eat? Do you know anybody that's going to be able to assist us once we get there? So instead of just getting the thought and being inspired to take off on it, maybe further think it out. And that's what the Mercury retrograde Sagittarius is going to be doing. Receiving new information and understanding, not just from our planet, but from the universe. Last week they talked about, the aliens are in the water. If you're on Patreon, this is old news for us. We've been knowing that there's aliens in water since 1937. Because it's not truthfully aliens. It's just extraterrestrials, extra Earth. There is no such thing as space. In order for you to get to space, you will have to go through the ocean. In order for you to get to the bottom of the ocean, you will have to go through space. This is old news. A couple of years ago during COVID, they had to tell us that yes, Area 51 was real. Yes, they had access to aliens and they had talked to them. But they have to tell us these things because at this point, treaties have expired. Contracts have expired. And now, we'll just say, the outer people are coming back in. And we won't call them people, but the beings are coming back in. This is already their land and their territory. So, we'll just see what will happen. I almost said something, but I forgot this is a public recording that I'm doing. This is not Patreon. So, let me not go there. Beliefs will be modified. Changes in your understanding, changes in your processes. Men in Black in real life. You know how Men in Black, the first one, only a few people knew that they were living amongst different beings. But they were going to school with them. They were their teachers. They were their bosses. They were their everything. And then as it progressed, everyone knew that they were living among people or beings that weren't necessarily earthlings. So, this is it for the Mercury retrograde Sagittarius recording for the Trap House. Be sure to click the link in the bio wherever you may see this to book a personal session with me, to subscribe to Patreon, to further understand all these things that you see in the headlines, because they are not telling the truth when they speak to you. They need you to have eyes for you to see what they are saying to you. And yeah, have a great Mercury retrograde Sagittarius. Again, this is the last part of the year. Do what you feel led to do. Don't be inspired by the internet. That's something else. Pluto in Aquarius already is going to have an influx on the AI and the robots and the technology. Great. Right now, Mercury retrograde Sagittarius, while you are kind of going through your apps and looking to see what needs to be deleted and what needs to be blocked, maybe you can put yourself on a new schedule of how you get on your internet or how you use your internet. I'm from the old school where we literally had to pay for the internet. We had to use a CD disc to pay for a couple of hours off the internet. You had to just hope that the internet would connect when they finally got dial up. You had to just hope that it would do what it needed to do. So I'm trying to go back to that era real quick, for my own sanity. So maybe you can figure out what work for you. 11:11 on the timer, so I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you later. Holla back.